What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? In today's video, we're going to be talking about why 80% of people are not able to keep off body fat, or 80% of people are not able to keep off the weight that they've lost. So I was looking around on the internet and I came across this study from the University of Stanford, and then it was backed up by some other studies which are linked up by the CDC and National Health Institute. And it basically talks about 80% of people who lose weight regain that weight within 2 years. Now, there's obvious caveats and things that are more particular about these studies, but overall, 20% of people have success with losing weight and keeping it off. I can't say, now I'm worried about that number. I'm very concerned with the overall health of the world with numbers like that, but I can't say that I'm surprised. One, because losing weight is relatively difficult because you have to, it's simple. The process of doing it is very simple, but the process of doing it consistently over time is typically where people struggle. And that's what this whole channel is about, making that process easier so that you can look the way you want and feel better on a daily basis. Now, I could give you guys some kind of scientific explanation for exactly why 80% of people just gain the weight back that they lose, but I want to give you my real life experience and what I see and my perspective on this problem. And to be honest, you guys probably see it too. This doesn't need science to give an explanation. There's very obvious reasons that we see out in the world why people are having trouble losing weight, dude. I do think, and I'll get into this, I do think it's your responsibility to lose weight, but there's many factors making this pretty difficult in the world that we live in now. So without further ado, let's get into what those reasons are. First up, I believe that companies are working against you and then blaming you for gaining the weight. Now, again, you are responsible for eating the food. It's your fault. If you want to lose weight and then you gain it all back, that is your fault. I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, it's the store's fault. But I will say it's kind of screwed up how these major corporations are just making absolutely junk food that you just don't need. And I'm not even talking about candy and stuff. I'm talking about if you go down the cereal aisle, this pisses me off. When you walk into a grocery store, you know that there are marketing teams of people who decide the color of certain cereal boxes, what shelf it's going to be on, where it's going to show up when you walk into the store, how visible it is from outside of the aisle. There are teams at these companies working to make sure that they can do everything with their packaging and boxes and making false claims just so that you pick that Frosted Flakes up and you buy it and take it home and eat it. We have so many brands of foods that are just complete nonsense. You don't even need it. Cereal's one of the biggest ones. Why is anyone eating cereal? And this is coming from someone who I enjoy it. I don't eat cereal anymore, but maybe once a year I'll have some cereal. And I used to eat it a ton when I was younger. But let me be clear. There's no reason to eat cereal. It's just a bunch of sugary crap. But yet, when you walk into the store, it's got all kinds of flashy, hey, pick me 2 for 1, all this kind of stuff. So I do get upset with how the government or just everyone in general is this country has, or the world has an obesity problem. It's a huge deal. But it's dude, shouldn't we be stopping the food companies from making all of these unnecessary foods that, instead of having one granola bar, there's 300 different kinds of granola bars. Instead of having one type of cereal or 5 types of cereals, there's hundreds of different types of sugary crap cereals. We just have so much food. There's so many different companies. So of course people are having a tough time keeping that weight off. As soon as they walk into the grocery store, their temptations are met with these amazing marketing teams of people trying to get you to buy and then consume their food. Next up, to piggyback off that, there's just too much food everywhere. There is so much waste. And yeah, I'm getting a little passionate Danny on this one, but dude, there's just too much food in the world. I can go outside and I know every country's not like this. Obviously there are places that really struggle to get food, which is even more screwed up for what I'm about to say. I can walk outside of my place, and I live in Southern California. I can get 10 different kinds of fast food right now. I can go to 4 different grocery stores all within walking distance. I can go to gas stations and get Gatorades and candy bars. And I can, if I want to get fat and I want to gain weight, it's super easy because the food is everywhere. And I'm not saying that we should get rid of all the food. There's a place for it in this capitalist society that we've created. But there's just so much of it, and we waste so much of it. Restaurants buy so much food to make for their customers, and they end up wasting so much of it. There's so much cereal. There's so many like just things at the grocery store, ice cream, even fruits, vegetables, whatever, that don't get used and then just get thrown away. So I think what we have is a calorie excess problem. Of course, people are having trouble losing weight because there's calories everywhere. It's so easy to just eat and not really think about it. Next up, and this is some hard truth here. The reason 80% of people end up gaining all the weight back is because losing weight and being consistent is hard. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat this, guys. If it wasn't hard, if the process of it was not like, damn, I really have to be consistent with this, then everyone would be ripped and shredded and no one would be in bad shape. The process of doing this for a long period of time and taking care of yourself never ends. And it's all about creating those habits that make it a little bit easier, which I will say, and I wanted to end this point with, is that losing weight is hard until a certain point. Now, I know some of you watching this are like, I'm one of those people who regained all the weight back. Like, dude, it's hard. Don't tell me it's not hard. I'm saying that when you start going on a weight loss journey, let's say you lose the weight and you gain a little bit back, and then you lose the weight again and you gain it back. And if you keep, I promise you, if you keep sticking it out and you keep seeking the right information and taking action on it, you will hit a point where once you lose the weight, it won't be as hard to maintain that because you've created the habits, you've been working at it long enough that it just becomes a part of your life. Like for me, when I lost 70 pounds, it was difficult at first to maintain that until a certain point. And now it's not really hard for me to maintain a lean physique because I've been doing it for so long that many of the habits that allow me to do that are just baked into my day-to-day. Next up, 80% of people gain all the weight back because losing weight is boring. Dude, it's boring. It's boring. Weight loss is boring. Like, yes, you have to exercise and eat correctly, but what about the other 22 hours in the day where you're just like doing stuff and trying not to eat? Like, that's the funny thing about this. It's like, I feel like weight loss is mostly a game of just not eating. It's a game of telling yourself, like, I don't need this Twinkie, dude. I don't need 2 Cliff granola bars. I can eat one and then go do my workout and I'll be fine. Weight loss is super boring. So you have to be able to tell yourself, hey man, I'm just going to try my best to not eat. And I'm going to practice things like walking, breathing exercises and meditation. Because I find that when I'm able to get into the present moment more, then I'm able to ask myself, Dan, are you actually hungry? Usually the answer is no. It's just because it's like, I just want to eat because I'm on the seafood diet. I see food and I eat it. But when I'm present and I'm like, I don't really need that, and I have stuff to do to occupy my time, then I just don't eat as much. But boredom is definitely a huge reason why people gain all their weight back. Next up, if you don't have a why, it can be difficult to stay motivated. So like being a pro athlete is pretty easy motivation because you have to train every day or almost every day. You have to work out. Like you're kind of forced to do that. For me, and I've said this in other videos, I'm motivated because I have this job. Like I have to be somewhat lean to make, to run this business. So I don't even mind that. And I like to be open about that. Like I do feel like I have it a little bit easier than some people because this is my job. So I'm sort of forced to be in shape. But the second part of that is I'm also addicted. Like I'm completely addicted to fitness and being lean. And again, whether you think that's healthy or not, it helps me stay in really good shape. So I'm not complaining about it. But you need a why. You need to have something that's like, this is why I'm doing it. Otherwise, weight loss is just it requires too much consistency that if you don't really care about it, you're just not going to do it. Another reason people gain the weight back is we sort of do live in a culture that shames people for being in shape. Even in dating situations or friend situations, meeting new people, I feel like sometimes I have gotten a little bit of shit for being real in shape, or just like the side comments of like, oh, I bet Dan doesn't eat that. I bet Dan doesn't eat cheeseburgers. And I'm like, yeah, it's hilarious. I love cheeseburgers. Just eat a cheeseburger with me. But no, we do live in a culture where like, if you do become the really in shape friend, if your other friends are out of shape, they might kind of tease you like, oh, you think you're better, or you think, I don't know. We just live in a world that as soon as someone gains any level of success, we just like to rip them down. It's the weirdest thing. I don't understand why we like to do this, but I think it is something that keeps people from doing what they really want in life, whether it be losing weight or following their dreams or whatever. I feel like a lot of people are just worried that they're going to get shit from other people that they know. well. Next, and I kind of already touched on this, we live in a culture full of temptation and calories. We live in this culture where, like, in one way, food is beautiful. Like, you get to go experience other cultures. Breaking bread with someone is a way of forming a new friendship or relationship. Like, it's an important thing, you know? Like, we use food as a way of coming together, which I think is awesome. But we do live in a culture that is just filled with this idea that you need to always be stuffing your face. And if you go over to someone's house and you don't eat all their food, it's really rude, which is crazy to me. Like, I remember when I lived in Colombia, I will always remember this. I remember I was dating someone, and I remember like going to their finca, which is like their weekend home. And I remember hanging out with their family, and one of my friends that I had brought with me did not want to drink with the family. And it was Sunday, and like everybody's drinking, and they eat this big soup, and everyone's drinking, and you're kind of like expected to eat the soup and drink. And if you don't, it's, you know, they're not going to hate you, but you kind of do get this like, oh, you're not real. Like, you're not like really welcome at the Colombian gathering, because like you just come here and you don't really like get down with getting drunk and eating. I'm not saying every Colombian family's gathering this happens. Sancocho is the name of the soup, by the way. It's delicious. But what I'm saying is, we just live in this culture where people like expect you to eat all the time, and to lose weight and feel good, you can't do that. It's a game of not eating, and if you're eating all the time, you're not going to be lean. It's just how it works. Next up, for why people cannot keep weight off, is I think we just live in this pressure cooker society. We wonder why people have drug issues and suicide problems, and we wonder why people are obese. But then like we just let companies put all this crap into our grocery stores. We let fast food franchises pop up on every single street corner. We overwork people. We tell people that if you don't have a purpose in life and you're not working hard and making tons of money, that you're basically like falling behind in society. So we put people in these like pressure cooker ways of living. Like, you have to work a ton to support your lifestyle because everything's too expensive. And then, you know, we have all these responsibilities and bills and expectations to live up to in society. And then we wonder why people don't have time to stay in shape, because we're like driving people into the ground and then wondering why people are unhappy or stressed or have a difficult time gaining weight. And even though I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I know that people are always like, that's how they want us to be, fat and stupid. And like, I'm not going that far to be like, yeah, the government wants this, but it is kind of interesting, isn't it? You know, like all these things that hold us down, and it's just like kind of bullshit. Like sometimes when people, like, I'll see these news articles like, oh my goodness, I don't know what's happening. Like, unhappiness is on a big rise. I don't know what it could be. And it's like, what do you mean? Of course, I know exactly what it is. It's this whole mantra of we have to be productive and earn lots of money to be accepted in society instead of putting our health first. And the last thing I want to say is we prioritize being the right human for other people instead of being selfish and being healthy. I'm gonna shoot you straight, guys. I'm a selfish guy. I'm selfish. I spend a lot of time doing things that I want to do and exercising so that I can feel good, so that I can show up better in real life situations. Now, some people might look at that and be like, well, that's selfish, Dan, or you spend it like you don't socialize enough because you're always doing your own thing or whatever. I'm sorry, but like I'm very opinionated about this. I'm not going to spread myself thin and do what everyone else wants me so that I can feel like shit and not get to my physique goals or my surfing goals or the way that I want to feel. Like, I put that stuff first. And I'm not saying in order to lose weight and be healthy, you have to be a jerk or you have to neglect your kids or your spouse or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that like, you don't need to spend all your money getting things that make you look acceptable to other people. You don't need to spend all your time attending social gatherings and parties that make you acceptable to society. As long as you got a couple good friends and family, at least for me, that's all I need. Other than that, I know my purpose in life. I'm busy doing it, and that's all I want to do. And I want to take care of myself and feel good in that process. And if I'm looked at as someone who's not, oh, Dan's never around, he used to always hang out, he used to, oh, Dan doesn't like show up for this or that anymore. Yo, I don't I don't care. I'm doing what feels good for me. And I feel like more people should do what feels good for them and stop listening to everyone else's opinions. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was all I wanted to say on this video. Let me know. I enjoyed making this video because this is one thing that I like is I'm not a scientist and I'm not like a dietitian or anything. So I see these studies and I like to look at weight loss and health and fitness from a bird's eye view as someone just experiencing it and helping coaching people. You know, I've at this point coached thousands of people through videos, through actually coaching, through programs, like whatever, on how to lose weight. And so I like to apply my real life working with other people and just what I see in the world as a human, like we all do, and apply that to health and fitness and how to develop routines that give you the body and the feeling that you want. Dude, sometimes I get so wordy that I cannot articulate what I'm trying to say. I think what I'm saying is I like to get out of the science of things and look at it from a real world perspective and be like, hey, this is maybe why I think people are having problems losing weight, and you don't need science to see that the grocery stores are making that really difficult. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, appreciate you guys. Couple resources or how to work with me. If you're someone who wants to go on a weight loss journey, we sell two major things. We sell jump ropes, best in the game, best you're going to find on the internet for weight loss. That's linked up here. We even have a code that you can use at checkout to save some money, but all that is like linked up in the description. So check that out. And the second thing that we sell is a subscription to, or you can do a one-off purchase for the JRD app. The JRD app is really great for anyone who's looking to go through a transformation because we have thousands of workouts in there, many different programs where I lead you through what to do. But then you have like an accountability and community forum to actually stick to your goals, because just getting there ain't enough. The app is really for people who want to go on a weight loss journey and then stay on that weight loss journey and develop the habits necessary to eat and move effectively to lose weight while also not, while still enjoying your life, man. Life's cool, so enjoy it. And you can have your cake and eat it too. No pun intended. You can be healthy and have a fun life. So appreciate you guys tuning in today. Let me know if you thought I missed something or if there's something else that you think is the reason why so many people struggle when it comes to regaining the weight that they've lost. Appreciate you guys. See you on the next one.